Homegrown kicks. What's going on, man? I see you're stealing my line here. What is that all about, huh? I don't know if I can sue you for like gimmick infringement or something like that. I'm gonna have to figure that out, but I'll have to figure that out at another date, on another date. But how you doing, man? Okay, so you're gonna be a little quiet today. That's cool. Anyway, so as you see, it's just me here today. Normally, Jeezy or whoever else would be around, jumping in here, sharing their thoughts as well. But he had to pull out because he doesn't have power. And one of the things you need to be on alive is power, like electricity power. So he's dealing with that because, things in New Orleans right now, not the greatest. But it happens, so can't hold it against him. But if either of you guys wants to jump on in or whatever, I'll put the link in there and you can do that. But for now, we're just going to move ahead, you know, and knock this thing out because like I was telling Kim the other day, welcome, this video here that I'm going to be doing this live, and then 2 reviews to shoot after this, and then I'm taking a break until probably sometime next week. So you'll probably see videos pop up on Monday and or Tuesday, but I won't be recording or doing much of anything until probably, it's fairly safe to say, like the middle of next week, something like that. Because after a while of doing this, like, it's cool and all, but like you got to take a break every so often. But you got to take those breaks before your body feels like you need to take the break. Because if you wait till your body tells you, you've waited a little too long. What's going on, HTX? Welcome. Thanks for popping in. He will also be going live later tonight. I want to say 8 Central, maybe something like that, talking about taking down the Flex app and sample sneakers, right? I believe that's what I saw on your YouTube thing. So, yeah. Oh, the chat delay. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that, honestly, because every time I do one of these, it's a little different. Sometimes it's not terrible. It's always there, but sometimes it's not terrible. But today, I mean, I don't really notice what it's like until I start the actual video, or not the videos, the pictures, because then I can verify when I'm seeing it on my screen and when YouTube is seeing it. So probably go ahead and start doing that real quick. Let me find this little screen share option, and then we can get on into things. Since I already have the not PowerPoint, PDF pulled up. So there's that. I'm gonna kick things off with a couple Yeezys this time around. Not everybody's favorite, but of course Kim loves the, man, she pulls off victories like you wouldn't believe. Okay, 8:30 Central. All right, I was close. I was close, off by 30 minutes. But I mean, if you're early, you're not gonna miss it. If you're late, then you've missed some, and you don't want that. OG Kicks, what's going on, man? Appreciate you stopping by. So, like I was saying, gonna knock out this here recap, and then after that, I'll stick around. We can talk about whatever you guys feel like talking about. So I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of scroll through these, not too quickly, but enough to not drag it out either. So first up, what did you guys think of the carbon at the top and the natural at the bottom? I don't have either one close to me, but I will say, of the two, I do prefer the upper one a little bit more, the carbon. I don't know, I just kind of liked that particular color. But I think they did a pretty decent job on the natural, even though it's not my ideal color. I like that they did something different. Now, some people, you get into the whole topic of a lot of 350s looking the same, and I do get that. But so far this year, the only 350s I've seen that looks close to that would be the linen, which is why I put that picture up on Instagram the other day. And otherwise, the last ones I saw in that style, as far as color type was like mid last year. So they've at least changed things up a little bit. So that's kind of cool. But all in all, I mean, it's not a bad release. You know, it's just not one that I share the same whole thing as like it being the best one of the year. Because a lot of people said that about the natural, about that lower one. And I don't see it. I just don't see it. But this is me we're talking about. And to be fair, my views of a lot of shoes don't always match up with a lot of people. So moving ahead on to, wait, what's this? I copped the Carbons, wish the sole was black, but it's still a nice colorway. Mine's still DS. Mine is a soft DS. And I say that because obviously I wear all my shoes briefly for the reviews, but I haven't worn it out just yet. And I don't know what things are doing up north, but down here in the southern part of Virginia, southern-ish anyway, there's a whole lot of rain going on. So when I wear those, I don't know. I'd like to, though. I bought a shirt so I could wear them with, well, the same shirt that I bought for the review. But we'll see. It'll happen when it happens. Now, as far as the sole being black, I mean, I could see that, but to me, then it'd be too close to like the Yield or maybe even what's that black, like to an extent like the Static or something. You know, it'd just be too dark overall. And I already have enough overall dark 350s. But I mean, I've bought mostly every pair over the last like 2 years. So of course I have a lot of colors already. Now these though, the upper 380 and the lower Quantum, not a fan of either. Just straight up not a fan of either. I like the color of the bottom one, like the Quantum. I have an Ultra Boost and I have a Vapor Max in that colorway. Huge fan of it. That calcite glow at the top though, I'm not a white shoe guy like that. Some will slip through the cracks and make it into the collection. But that particular thing, that 380, I can't do that. It's just not for me. Well, okay, yeah, and that's the thing. Like when people make those complaints about like, oh, well, this 350 looks like that one, and it's like, you don't have to buy all of them. They make things that are similar in case maybe you missed out on the Lundmarks. You can pick up the Yashawas or something, you know, because they're similar. So that's how that works. Same thing with like when you see a handful of black and red and white, whatever combination Jordan 1s. I didn't like a lot of them, but I did like the bloodlines, you know? So sometimes it's just like that. You'll like something else more than whatever. So you get the other thing, even though they're similar, something about it might just not be for you or you missed out. So I'm all for them making similar things because generally that's going to make some people less inclined to go after it. Speaking of being less inclined to go after something, this here sisterhood, I don't like anything about it. Well, I mean, okay, the color is fine. But past that, though, this thing is awful. I don't know what you guys are thinking out there in YouTube land, but I saw this and you know how you see things sometimes and you're like, this can't be real. Like they're not really trying to get you to pay top dollar for this, right? But they were. And I'm sure some people did, and that's cool. You know, if you like it, you like it. That's great. It doesn't change my opinion of it. I still think it's bad. But again, it's a decent color. It's just that those jewels or those circles or whatever is going on there, like above the swoosh, behind the toe box, up near like the logo. I don't know what these things are doing, but it's not okay. Let's see. I want a pair of 380s. Oh, Friday you said you were gonna jump in. My bad, dude. I've been sitting back there for like the last 20 minutes, or how long. I'll turn it over to him for a second to share his thoughts on these 2 ones.
Okay. Now for the blue one, what were those, like the women's?
Yeah, the sisterhood.
Okay, yeah, the sisterhood. Now, surprisingly, because I'm extremely critical of a lot of different shoes and things like that and different aspects. But for whatever reason, just looking at the pictures initially, I did like those. And I saw that shoe get a lot of criticism. And I was just like, well, maybe it's not as bad as people think it is. Man, I did let the criticism get to me, so I didn't grab the shoe, so I can't tell y'all what it actually looks like. But I mean, the what do they call those? Like the rhinestones or whatever they used to put in the jackets in the 90s, or studs or something like that. I mean, like, I'm not bothered by the studs. I honestly am not bothered. But then again, I was one of those people that did like the platinum grade 6s that came out in the women's sizing.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't like that clear panel because they were like, you know, you could see to the sock or whatever. I actually saw a pair of those in hand, and you can't see your socks because there's like a black booty that lines the inside of the 6s that covers that up. It's just a clear plastic panel to see black. So I did stand by, you know, with that, my original point. I did like those 6s, but yeah, these are not that bad, especially for a women's shoe, because they've done a lot worse Jordan 1s.
Yeah, there's definitely been some worse things out there. But yeah, I saw those 6s recently too, and I hadn't given them any attention beforehand. But when I looked at it, I was like, okay, you can't really see all the way in there. I didn't think about what was on the inside. I just knew that it wasn't what I expected in that way.
Right.
What about the Lucky Greens?
The Lucky Greens. In the beginning, those were ones that I was extremely, well, I wouldn't say extremely hyped about, but I was, you know, kind of on that hype train. You know, if you can call it that. I was sitting in the very front of the train in case something goes bad. I'm able to hop off first. But yeah, they're nice. I mean, they're nice. It's green. I believe like the theme behind it was to make fun of like one of the teams that Jordan dominated back in the early years, which was the Celtics. Because somebody said it's got like the Celtics hardwood floor on the insole of the shoe. I don't know how true that is. If that's the case, if that's the thing behind it, then okay, yeah, it's funny. But it wasn't a shoe that I necessarily had to pick up. It's not a necessary Jordan 1. And then again, there are a lot of Jordan 1s that aren't necessary, but
man, that's true.
I guess the Lucky 13s left kind of a bad taste in my mouth for these Lucky 1s. And I'm a huge fan of 13s. Like 13 is my number one silhouette. And unfortunately, there have been a lot of bad 13s, in my opinion, that have dropped. But it was an easy pass to wait for something else. So
yeah, I saw them and originally through a live I was in with DJ Dells, and I thought like they'd make a decent little Christmas type release. You know, it'd come up in like late November or something. You know, and it's done like as a massive general release that you can just pick up anywhere. I think that would have been the way to go with those. But
maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's what it was.
I mean, they still moved all right. Oh, there's that other sisterhood and
that sisterhood,
de Los Muertos.
The De La Muertos. Those are pretty nice, especially for mids. I like the color. The color blocking was really good. I think 313 Retro Queen picked these up. If I saw her Instagram correctly, I think she grabbed those. But those are really nice mids. They're really trying to push the narrative of the mids, giving them better quality than the highs, giving them some imaginative colorways, and removing some of those jump men off of them. So
yeah. Yeah, I looked at these when I first saw them. I thought, what's going on here? Because I didn't realize that it was a special type shoe. I thought it was just like your standard thing, and I was like, there's got to be more to this, you know. Then I was like, okay, yeah, I see what's going on here. But yeah, And not too bad overall. I mean, I wasn't gonna bother trying for them or anything like that.
Yeah,
'Cause you
yeah,
know how
that's
I
true.
am. But I did. We'll eventually get to the other release. It was like an Air Max 90, I want to say. But not bad though. And then of course, the other sisterhood, which was
Yeah,
mid, and
that
I
is the sister that should have been left behind, in my opinion. That
yeah,
is,
it's like the sisterhood of bad shoe choices. I don't know what's going on with that, but I don't approve. These mochas though, a lot of people were into these yesterday.
yeah, yeah. Um, Strangely, I didn't get those. Like I thought I had a lock for those mochas, but apparently nothing is guaranteed when it comes to Jordan ones and Jordan releases. But yeah, I didn't get those. A lot of people are high on those because, of course, you hate to use that reference, so I'm not going to use it. But a lot of people are high on these because they couldn't get the Travis Scotts.
I mean, I would say like even if both came out in like massive quantities on the same day and you just had to choose one or the other, I would I take this one easily. When I first
Absolutely,
saw the
yeah,
Travis Scott, like for
absolutely,
one, I didn't like the backwards swoosh just because I don't care about like, oh well, it's not like the OG. I don't care about that. I just think that aesthetically it's a poor choice, right? And
yeah,
also I don't wear shoes of people that I personally don't deal with.
right,
So I've got nothing against him. I've never even listened to his music. But that's reason for me to not say that I'm going to support him because I've never listened. So I always thought like if they had just made these as a standard like mid or something and just put that colorway on there, I'd be on board with it, right? Because
right,
I figure a mid would be something most people would ignore, so I could like get that and be good. And then they made these, which are still solid, don't get me wrong, but all the hassle that a lot of people were going through and talking about them, and I was like, sometimes, much like Anthony Levine was talking about recently, like that kind of makes me not care. It's like everybody's, oh, this is going to be shoe of the year. This is the best thing ever. Shoe of the whole 2020s. I'm guaranteeing it. It's like, uh,
a nice like this shoe, that mocha, if the Travis Scott didn't exist, that would absolutely be what like a black and brown Jordan would look like. But yeah, I definitely get what you're saying. Sometimes hype can be too hype and drive you away from something.
right
Uh,
now, I did say yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah. So I knew what the sneakers had gone through some kind of hassle with getting his, as a lot of people did, on the results day. So I guess Friday.
yeah.
I did try for him on Saturday on sneakers, and I did get a pair. And so then I asked him, like after I got my confirmation, I'm like, hey, did you get one or what? He's like, nah, it took, it didn't work out. So I'm like, well, if you want these, like I got them for you. Give me the price they cost plus whatever it costs to ship them to you,
Right,
and we'll call it even.
right.
And so he was cool with that. Because the thing was like I had told myself a while ago that if I ever got like a decently priced resale wise Jordan 1 or something, I'd consider trading it so I could try to get the Hyper Crimsons.
Oh
But
yeah,
the thing
yeah,
is, like, if I got those, I'd probably wear them once in a while, sure. But I figure, you know what? Since I know somebody that really wants this shoe, like, I'll give this to them. And instead of like going and getting something that I might wear once in a while, you know what I mean?
right,
I got enough
right.
shoes. I'm pretty good.
Get some better use out of the
Yeah,
choices.
right. So what about these? The what was this? The Zoom Venom. I think it was something Venom.
Yeah, something like that. I saw. I haven't seen like full images of this. I saw like a peek of it. From what I saw, they were all right. This photo makes them look hideous, but I think they were all right. I think it's got like the purple toe box. I think like the purple swoosh is like a different material other than leather, and I would either want to say that the bottom glows or it's a solid green bottom. I can't remember. Um, but I mean, I get them, trying a lot of different things with the Zoom, and a lot of the stuff that they're doing with the Zoom has been pretty decent. I will say that. Let me see if I can find a picture of that.
Yeah, because I saw them, and I feel like this morning when I was getting these pictures was my first time seeing these. Because if enough stuff passes through your eyes, you kind of just, after a certain point, you don't really see everything. You don't
Right.
retain it or whatever. And this could just have been one of those things. They're not terrible, you know what I'm saying? But it wasn't obviously enough to stand out in my mind. Now, these blue threes, though, I've been seeing those for a while, and those
for decades.
What's that?
I said people have been seeing those for decades, feels like.
Yes. And like I like those, not enough to buy, but I do like them.
Thank you.
I would like to have seen them go head to head with the red pair to see who really sold better, like if people knew that they had a choice between red and blue, like which one would they get?
I absolutely second that thought. And the crazy thing is blue is my favorite color, but this is in my opinion, this is a perfect example of blue not looking good on everything. And the fact that they already did it with all red ones, it's a little too much.
Yeah.
It's a little too much. And then like that shoe has had hype over the last 3 or 4 months with drops and then pushbacks and then like a few pairs getting free and then pushed back, and it's like, come on, enough is enough already. Just drop the shoe. And
I mean, that's how like Jeezy, I believe he got his from like one of those overseas sites like End or a few, one of the standard overseas sites.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, they did the same. They pretty much did the same thing they did to the DMP 7s, like major pushbacks. I think the DMP still had 8 pushbacks within 3 months before the All-Star release. So I mean, I love the shoe. I love the shoe just for the aesthetic of it, but I mean, the hype on it is not valid. Just like with the red.
Okay.
The hype is not valid.
Yeah. That might be what it is. Because I was gonna say the DMP 6, that one did get pushed back, but it's a 6, and in my opinion, that 6 color blocking is a lot better than that 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could agree with that. But like I said, blue 3s are a rarity. Like, other than like maybe the Do the Right Thing 3s, what it was, I can't remember the Game Royal.
True Blues.
Yeah, the True Blues and the Game Royal.
Oh, I forgot about those.
Yeah, that's about there's probably only maybe six blue 3s out of the last 30 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they didn't have to do this. They didn't have to do my color blue like that.
So what do you guys think of the PSGs? Vlogging with Demetrius was saying he's pretty high up on those.
Oh, I was definitely high up on that. The price was what, like 225, 250, 225, somewhere around there.
Yeah,
it was
one of those. I forget which
one. If it was 250, I definitely wasn't gonna pay that. I can tell you that. But from just looking at it, the materials were quality. I think it was like this. It's the same level of leather as the What the 4s and the now Fire Red 4s. The color burgundy with those little light touches of gray, they did a real good job with that. Because usually PSG shoes are not usually on my radar. I think it's maybe like 1 or 2 of the PSGs that I actually liked, kind of like the Kai 54s.
Right.
Those 2 collabs are really huge hit or misses, and when they miss hard. I'm talking about like dunking and not dunking the ball, but hitting your head on the backboard type hard. but like the message is really good. Paname, meaning like the suburbs in France, which apparently a lot of people are not, keen on talking about. If you ask them, they don't want to say they're from the suburbs. They use the word Paname, which is pretty interesting. I don't 100% know how that correlates with the shoe or the message, but
I mean, it's the same thing they do out here in New Orleans. Like the suburbs say, "Oh, I'm from New Orleans," instead of like, "Nah, say what suburb you from."
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I guess it's about like how Atlanta. Like you might be from Macon, or you might be from
Mathern.
Right, some water hole that's not even bigger than the nail on your pinky finger, and
Right.
they ask you where you from, and they be like, "Oh, I'm from Atlanta." Oh,
Right.
really?
But I mean, I like the color blocking of the PSG for the most part. I mean, I think people mostly were sold just because it's the military blue color blocking, and like I said, just that Bordeaux color that's on it, like it really sets it off. And but that price, that $225 price, I just can't get over that. But I mean, I should expect that because what it was, the PSG 5s were the same price, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't know how their pricing is, because I find it strange their pricing needs above a Nike Air pair.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, maybe they had to pay a little extra to get that name on there or something.
It's probably
for everything.
It's probably the club.
Because for me personally, I like the release. I think it looks really nice and everything, but again, just being super selective, I didn't even consider going for it, and especially that's based on even if they were like just the normal 190. I was like, this isn't. Once something goes into like the 220, 225, or 250 range, there's a slightly different thought process. The cutoff to entry to being considered is different.
I mean, once you factor in the tax too, like I'm paying about $250 where I'm at, like just in taxes on for that. So I'm like, that's a stretch. I can't see myself paying for like a 4 at $250.
Yeah, that makes you want to travel to a different county, because taxes are different county by county. Like in the city, taxes are like 8%. Like 5 minutes up the road is 6%.
Yeah, we're 10% out here.
Whoo, no sir.
Yeah, I think between us and New York, goddamn, I'm glad we just don't have like those other taxes involved, like county tax, state tax, what else?
Yeah. At 225, 250, a 10% tax will definitely make you hit a U-turn when it comes to
and then can't use no coupons on
it. No sir.
So that's why I'll stick to my 12s outside of the last year's CNYs. They tend to be in the price range where I'm okay. So now I will say this particular release, the Dark Concords, you guys know me, I'm a big 12s person. I was not excited to get those.
Right.
But I was like, well, they're not bad. Don't get me wrong. It's just if I knew that they were going to stay around and maybe drop in price as some other shoes do, sure. But that would have had to have been maybe this time last year where that would even be a possibility. Nowadays, everything, even the bad things, move pretty quickly. But what do you guys think of the Dark Concords?
This picture right here makes them look incredible. This picture alone would drive some serious hype, because the purple Jumpman tag looks like it's metallic. Now, because
it does have that. Even in person, it's got a slight metallic.
It does have like a brushed metallic finish.
Yeah. And I did and I do like these, but I felt like, and I still feel like this is like a shoe that you can definitely get on sale. A good shoe. You can never go wrong with black on a Concord. Well, I mean, not a Concord, but a 12. These are good. These are good. I definitely wanted a pair. Wasn't in a rush to get a pair because all the other shoes that were dropping around them. But like, had these been dropping, and then they might have dropped, I mean, something other than a Union or a Mocha or an Off-White 5 or something like that, had some of the other shoes followed other than those, then yeah, I definitely would have grabbed a pair.
Right. Yeah. Me personally, I think it was a solid release. I give it a 7. A 7 out of 10.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah. I don't know where I'd put it, but I will say it was
maybe
not
a strong 6.5.
Even though it was, I mean, I'd probably go out of 5 because that's. I guess I'll give it a. I'll give it a 4 because there's a bias in there.
Yeah.
Or because it's a 12, so it automatically gets some extra points. But it's not like one of my favorites. You know what I'm saying?
So,
but it's fine. Now these.
So if you had to choose, let's say the blue 12s that came out last year, or these, which ones would you choose?
I don't remember any blue 12s from last year, honestly.
They were all black.
The Royal 12.
Yeah,
the Game Royal 12. Oh, see, you should have said black and blue. Yeah, those easily.
Oh, yeah, I definitely would take those.
Yeah, those. Yeah.
That's no competition. Like if they
would you rather have a sandwich or would you rather starve? That's the kind of question you're asking. It's not even
like. And another thing, I think if they would have did that 12 and like that color blocking, like the black and royal, like that flu game color blocking, like that would have been a major selling point for that shoe.
That was the original mock-up that some people had. Yeah.
Like everybody wants that Mike Bibby PE.
So what do you guys think about these 235s? I know Optimistic was saying he thinks they'll be worth some money. One of them, the top one. What do you guys think of these?
Yeah, I definitely. I'm always a fan of the new models that comes out. I think the 33 was the one that was like underwhelming for me, but the 35 and the 34, I think they knocked it out of the park. Especially like just the aesthetic of the shoe. Like I love when they take aspects of older shoes, like they took the tongue of the 5, the little netting on the side they took from the 5 as well. I was more of a fan of the Warrior and this fragment colorway. I want to see how that DNA colorway looks in hand. But for the most part, I mean, they haven't really disappointed me as far as like this shoe is concerned.
For me, I wasn't a huge fan of the first colorway, which kind of turned me away from the shoe. Like someone said in another chat, the side of those 35s looks like a vacuum filter.
That's the first I've seen that, and it's very
wow, never heard that one before. But hey, we can always count on Kim to give us some new bright critique. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, the fragments. When I saw the fragment color blocking, I was like, okay, these are fairly decent. And then I forget on it might have been Soul Center. Where they showed a fire red 5 color blocking on these, and that was it. I was like, yeah, these are definitely nice. A lot better than what I gave them credit for.
Yeah, after hearing a lot of good things about the 34s, I mean, I was interested in at least trying a pair on just to see what people were really saying about them, if it held up, in my opinion. I just never really got around to it. I will say. I feel like the lower one, the fragment, that one's cool and all. I feel like with the right colors, like these can really grab some attention. Because it's one of those things. Like, let's say only the upper one came out, and that was like the first one or whatever. I wouldn't think much of the model personally.
Right.
But if the lower one came out first, I'd go, okay, this might be going somewhere.
The fragment 35 color blocking was actually better than the fragment 3 color blocking. But that's
very, very true. And then, so now that we got some of the Jordans out of the way, Adidas threw a couple things out there. They took a slight change to the NMD with this R1 V2 and a slight change to the Oswego and threw this flap on the front and locked in some extra lacing type things. I'm not a fan of either. I do like the color of those NMDs though.
Yeah. The NMDs look nice. I like that color blocking. Those Oswegos, they look very familiar to a competitor's shoe. What was it?
The something money up tempo.
Yeah, the low up tempos with that shroud on the front that exactly had money on it. Yes.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was called, but that's the one.
For that reason, they can burn these, and they get a fat no from me. I hope that these never see the light of day, even though apparently they did at some point have to see the light of day in order to take an image photo.
Yeah.
But I hope these on release day release straight to the outlets, and then nobody ever buys them.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like a standard Oswego is super comfortable, and they are always super cheap, so they're worth considering. I'll just leave that out there.
Right.
I've never been a huge NMD fan at all. The comfort isn't like non-existent, but compared to what it's priced like, as in Prestos and Air Max 1s and stuff, it's not my preference.
Right.
And then got a couple things in here. Haven't seen BX, but he'd love these couple slides here. So the top one was a Stan Smith. Something, I think it was just like a plain Stan Smith, but like supposed to have like premium quality to it. And then the lower one was made for Jam Master J. I don't know exactly when they came out because Adidas releases are a little weird. Like they'll talk about something, and then all of a sudden you'll just see that it's been in stores for a little while.
Right.
But I do like the Superstars. I mean, okay, I wouldn't buy them because I don't like the shell toe. But I do think that this is a cool idea for a shoe. I'll say that.
Like, okay, I'll give a nod to the heritage of the Stan Smiths. Okay, whatever. I've never been a huge fan of Stan Smiths, but they're not great, but they're not bad. But the price hike in those shoes because of the name Stan Smith on the back and his face on it, it's never been warranted to me. The Run DMC Adidas, I think they come out this month. I think like on the 11th or something like that. And then there are three total color blockings, I think, because I've seen this black with hits of red on it. I actually like the black with hits of red on it a lot better than the other ones I've seen. But I've never been a fan of shell toes. Every time I look down at the top of somebody's foot with shell toes on, I just get enraged because I'm like, it's like a big rubber toe with too much going on, and I'm like, why? You just ruined a perfectly good shoe. Everything about this shoe from the toe back is great, and then just looking at the toe,
that's
like,
what I'm
what
saying.
are you doing?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, I know Kicks for Fresh is saying she likes them, so that's great. No, I know that they have a fan base, right? But
right, I've had this same feeling since I was a kid. I remember going into the mall and picking up a pair and looking at those because Jordans were all gone, and I was tired of the Reebok 2 for $89s, and I was like, oh, this shoe looks great. And then I turned around to the front, and I'm like, what is this big turtle shell doing on the front of a shoe? And I immediately put it back. But to each their own.
So, but I will say one, moving on to the next thing here, I would really like to try out a pair of these Ultra 4Ds because I feel like with the right upper, which is what these are, standard Ultra Boost upper.
Yeah.
And that might be enough. Because I will say like the 4D printed outsole on these, because I have a pair of something other 4D. It's not the greatest. I hear you. Okay. They really take some serious wear to break in or whatever. But I'm wondering if this would make them at least more wearable while you're waiting on them to get broken in.
Right.
Because for that price, those other things were originally like 350. You know, I got them when they were like 120.
Right.
And these, I want to say, are around the 180, 190.
Okay, because I was gonna say, like 4D has always looked interesting to me, but again, like you said, for that price, and I just can't justify it. And then I've heard, like you said, that they are very stiff.
Exactly, because I went and I was going to do a performance review on those, and I went out there to start running, and I did like the first day, and I was like, man, I do not like this. Like, this might not happen.
Well, maybe you can just like put them in a plastic bag and run over with a car and kind of soften the 4D, you know?
Because I mean, normally I'd wear some stuff around the house for a few days, weeks, whatever, before wearing it out. If it's a shoe that I feel like that needs to happen in. But I was like, well, I might just cut my losses. They were cheap. What about these adapts here? I think this colorway is pretty nice. I mean, it's still out of my price range, but you know, it looks decent.
Yeah, those are that's a nice color blocking. I get the mindset of like a serious basketball shoe. In the retrospect of these, like they're nice, but I would never buy them. They're just not a casual looking shoe to me. Those actually look like shoes for cross trainers or, you know, people who just like run for days.
It's just not a casual, like you said, it's just not something I can just throw on, you know, and that's the kind of stuff that I gravitate towards, which is why certain shoes that like even normal price, like certain basketball shoes just have a look that like you can tell they're good at what they're made for.
Right.
But walking around in them on a daily basis,
I know who would love these. Forrest Gump would probably love them because he runs for days.
And Kim saying for $400 she can tie her own shoes. It's like, yeah, you can do that, or you can
these auto laces.
Get some of those little things you put on your laces, just kind of like lock them in. I had some of those when I was younger. You know, I had like some Ninja Turtles once, the little lace locks. But who was it? DJ Dells. He bought the lower pair, that silverish pair, and they locked. You know what I'm saying? And he couldn't figure not locked, but like they were tightening.
Yeah.
And he couldn't figure out how to loosen them so that he could actually put them on. Because he would try to push the buttons, because usually it's like you hold the two buttons on the side for like 30 seconds and then they'll loosen up to like factory style. And that they would tighten a little more. And he's like,
oh gosh.
So yeah, I don't know if he ever got that worked out, but he was going back and forth with Nike to get it worked out.
Wow.
So beware. So your take on the Nijas, because those came out this month, but the other two came out last month.
Well, no, these came out last month. Well, October, because today's November 1st.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. October. Yeah. But the Prestos were like September. And
I think they came out at the same time.
Well, maybe the UK got them earlier.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. The UK did an early release on the Prestos, and then for like a US release, they dropped all of them. Well, no. Like I think the Prestos came out a week before the rest of them did, or something like that. Something crazy.
Yeah, whatever. We'll talk about these. These are what matter right now.
I have a review for these coming up soon.
Okay, so you heard it.
You heard it
here first.
Enough. I will say I was thoroughly impressed. They're not your typical Air Force One.
All right. Well, we will hold tight for your thoughts on those whenever your review gets put up. They're not for me. Not because of the color. I'm just not an Air Force One guy.
Right, exactly.
I do like those are React style though, right? So
yes, they are. You know, I said the same thing. And as a little bit of a teaser in my intro, I said how I promised myself I would never ever buy another Air Force One. And review coming soon.
All right, there we go. I'll get your links and stuff in the description a little bit later. But for now, Actually, I'll paste it in the chat. While I do that, talk about your thoughts on that upper pair of shoes.
What is the name of those? I forgot, but
It
whatever the name was, I was really hyped on the intrigue of the new look of these. I would actually probably buy a pair, but not for that price. The price is ridiculous. I don't care how innovative the tech is, it's not $400 innovative. They can throw it in the trash for $400, but
yeah.
Just to be different and to be, I don't know, yeah, different in that aspect. I would have bought these just to be different.
Yeah, I would have not even considered that because they just, I know I've had these on like for like the last 2 months or something because they release different colors and they're never okay. Also, what's not okay is this thing that turns into a rain boot of sorts.
Yes, no, that's hideous.
That I do not understand. I just don't, I don't get it. That link in the chat, that is for Homegrown Kicks YouTube channel. Please go ahead and click that. So that way you can get to him later when he's ready to drop that other review. And until then, you can watch the reviews that he has right now. And hopefully you'll like what you see. You'll stick around and help him hit his next milestone of 100 subscribers. He's like, what, 15, 20 away, something like that?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Okay. So, yeah.
But these look like if you want to protect your legs for the next 20 years and vacuum seal your legs up in these shoes, this looks exactly like what you're doing. Like you're vacuum sealing your legs in the shoe. I have no idea what Nike was thinking when they did this. Maybe for running in the rain and you don't like to get anything from your knees down wet. Maybe.
Yeah. And it's not gonna like fold in a sleeping bag or whatever. Like when you put it back in the pouch, it's gonna be all lopsided and uneven.
Like when I first saw the images of that big thing on the back, I didn't understand the point of it. But then again, there was another shoe with a big wing or something on the back of it. That
like
was
old wall ones or something.
Right. That was for stability. So I was like, okay, well, maybe they're upping the tech on this, and maybe there's like a computer chip that tracks your everything in there. And then when I saw the Ziploc bags come out of the shoe, it was just shot me further away from the point of it.
It was all downhill from the moment I first saw the top picture, and then it was like you were going downhill. Then all of a sudden, just like steep, like you just hit a cliff. And I was
right. You went downhill, you see the cliff, and you just jump off just cause.
Yeah. So what were these? These are like a crater dunk.
Yeah.
Do you remember these coming out? I don't, but they did.
Only because I watch local Facebook groups. I mean, not Facebook. Yeah, is it Facebook? Yeah. Facebook, yeah. So many different social medias. They kind of jumble together. But these, I wasn't high on them. Just looking at like release images, still not high on them as far as dunks. I do like some dunks, but seeing them, personal photos that people have taken of these shoes, they're a lot better than like the press photos. Would I buy them? No, unless they went on a major sale. But
yeah, I'd like to see what the dunks are all about, but if they make the right release, I'm not just gonna buy them.
Right.
But these,
I love the grind material on that.
You say that one more time?
Oh, I was saying I love the grind material on that dunk, but I love the high too on that Zoom high, that Jordan 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, because I do like that, but it's like, it's just, if I wanted these aspects of the shoe,
right,
I would probably just go get those 90s that are like kind of similar.
Right.
And like easier to get. Like I could probably go to Foot Locker right now and try those on and then buy whatever size makes sense and all that stuff. Whereas with these,
somebody make a really good point about all of these shoes in general. how they're trying to decrease the impact, the carbon footprint.
Mm-hmm.
The carbon footprint to make these shoes is greater than the
actual process.
right. Like,
I mean, they could also just maybe like not make as many releases every
yeah,
month.
that's what somebody else will
Right.
say.
Like that'd be the easiest way. Like,
right. You
look
make
at all-
one Crater or Space Hippie collection, but you got like 100 other ones that still use cowhide
yeah,
or whatever
'cause,
other
like,
material.
they
or
could have
other-
not made those sisterhood ones either, of them,
right.
and been just fine, right? If you just look at all 500 releases you're going to do, because Nike seems to do about 500 a month, take out a couple. Now, I will say, like, I think that they did a pretty decent thing with these here, with these pennies. I think the look is pretty decent. I'm guessing that's a foam posit type
Yeah.
of side on there. I don't know that I'd buy it, at least not in this color, but it's at least intriguing to me.
When was the last time we got these? 2012?
Shoot, I couldn't even tell you. All I bought in 2012 was 2012 Air Maxes.
You're right.
Oh wow. I'd rather have somebody rob me than pay for these.
Yeah.
I don't like these at all.
Really?
Like of all the pennies I've seen, because like I'm not a huge fan of pennies. But there have been some pennies that I did like. I'm not gonna say that I don't like them at all, but these are nah.
I'm a yeah. I second that.
That I absolutely hate foam posits. Well, I'm not gonna say I hate foam posits, but I would never buy a foam. Well, let me not say that either.
You're not a fan,
right? Yeah. I just leave it at that. Yeah,
that's the way to say it.
I think Payne's taking offense to this. Going to take offense to this, but I've just never been a fan of the eggplant colorway on any of the models. That's just my thing. Like the white royal, the white black, the white royal and black. I'll take those any day. But I just can't stand that eggplant colorway. Even on the foam posit, I couldn't stand it.
Really? That's
Now for some reason I like what it was, the peanut butter and jelly foam posit that came out.
Those are nice. Those are decent.
Yeah, those I love, but this one I just can't get with it.
Payne saying these last came out like 08, 09.
08, 09. Okay, yeah.
It's been a minute.
It should have been longer.
Now, up next, there was two foams. So Payne, he picked up the lower pair yesterday yesterday was because he was doing a live about it. But they don't have an official tweet date until I think later this month, or maybe I think that's what he was saying. But either way, apparently they're out in some places. And then of course you have the upper pair, like the all black anthracites. So now I know what you're gonna say, homegrown, because we just talked about how you're not really a fan. But what do you think of these overall though? Still, is it just like not for you, or can you see anything good about them?
They're nice. They're nice. I'm not gonna say that they're trash or terrible. They're nice. It's just not. It's foam posits as a whole aren't for me.
Yeah.
Maybe if I could catch a pair on an extreme sale and maybe try it out that way, maybe it'll change my mind. But I mean, for retail, no. I can never do a foam posit for retail.
Yeah, the price, though, I will say because they're so high priced. And I was talking to E-Money about this the other day. It's like sometimes I feel like the high price, like they keep that there so that when they drop these to like 180, or in this case of like rugged orange ones, like I think Payne was saying those like 140, 150 in his outlets. When they do that, it makes you feel like, man, I'm saving that much more money. You know what I mean?
Right.
Kind of like trying to mess with your head a little bit. But again, as a lot of people will say, look aside or whatever, they're still durable. They're comfortable once you get them broken in and all that good stuff. So you got that going for you. But it's not a look for everybody. But I will say I do like what they did with the outsole on that bottom pair, the gradient soles.
Yeah, it's nice.
Because I would not have even, when he had it on his table in the video, from like that upper angle, you can't really see that. But then you picked it up and I'm like, okay, now I see what's going on there. And it didn't look like, it might have just been how it was on the table, but it didn't seem as like shiny on the side like this. Like this looks like it's like a bright metallic silver kind of thing going on.
Yeah, like the silver surfers.
Yeah. But and it could have just been, like I said, like how it was in the video, but it didn't look like that on his. And then there was also the Halloween foam. So there's 3 that came around. Let's see.
What about that? It's Halloween. Like when I see that, I don't see Halloween.
Wait, say that again.
What about that last foam? Is Halloween? I don't.
Well, it's the orange and black.
The orange.
Yeah, it's an orangish color more so than just flat red. So it's the colorway of it. I don't think there's anything on like a pumpkin or jack-o'-lantern or scarecrow anywhere on it.
Yeah. I mean, all the ones I seen come in, it says Halloween on like the shipping label, but it's like, what's so Halloween about this?
Right. Because I mean, if you had not said it was a Halloween shoe, I would have just thought it was another foam colorway.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like didn't the foam come in this colorway before?
Well, I mean,
if it wasn't the Pro, probably
I don't know.
Because like when I also thought it was just like a normal foam release.
Right.
Yeah.
Like this doesn't scream Halloween to me. This screams miss the mark. If it definitely is a Halloween shoe, but I mean, I guess orange and black. Hey, every orange and black shoe is Halloween. Then
I mean, hey, whoever likes it, I hope they got their pair.
Yeah.
And then let's see, we had the Aunt Pearls came along, and the Pro Tros also came along.
Hold on, can I say something about the Aunt Pearls?
Yeah.
Nah, I love the cause, but I always love the Aunt Pearl collection. But this one has to be by far the worst one to ever come out.
Yes.
And I feel like there's a disservice not only the cause, but KD's line in general pertaining to this collection, man. Like I don't like. It's hard for me to even just find a good thing on this shoe.
Okay.
So
I'm
like
glad you said so.
Yeah. I just can't get down with this, man. Like they could, like, I'm sorry, either stop the collection or like fix the product. Like,
yeah, I hear where you're coming from, because overall I don't think it's amazing, but when I first saw it, I was like, man, I like that midsole because it's got like, I like that marble splatter kind of style because I have an Ultra Boost like that.
Right.
But then like the rest of it, I mean, I haven't really liked any of the shoes I've seen of this model personally. So I'm gonna stand by what I've said before, in that the right colorway can make practically any shoe look decent. And maybe there's one out there for this, but this one, I'm with you. This one wasn't the one to change my mind.
Okay. Now I don't feel so bad because I was going to jump out of the gate and call these straight ugly. They look like some of those old brown leather shoes that old people would wear like in the 20s.
Like a
That's what they look like. Yeah. Like grandma's booties. And like, except for their pink. It's like if the 1920s decided to do something different and throw, like they say, a splash of color in there. That's exactly what these would look like. And no.
Right.
Optimistic saying to this day he only has one pair of Kobe's, which, I mean, I know he's got a pretty decent collection. And usually when I see people that are into like certain types of shoes, like him, I would have guessed he would have had more Kobe's. You know, you just make that assumption just based on what you see somebody with.
Right.
But, the Kobe's, I've never really been high on Kobe's. Not to say that they're bad shoes, but they're basketball shoes. They're not like a basketball and casual wear shoes, even though people can pull off a casual wear for them. They're just basketball shoes, and I don't know if I have any shoes that are just like specifically geared towards like the court. So
See, I have, like I was saying in the chat there, I only have 11s. I have 3, possibly 4 pair. And those, they have a casual enough look. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But obviously, like, not every year is the same. But
Right.
that one I was able to get behind, and so I bought a couple of them. I don't wear them a lot, but even for me, that's a basketball shoe that I can wear.
Right.
So, so you get some points for that. And now this here, let's see if I zoom in on it. Now the best of Kyrie, whatever they call them. I like the idea here. I'd like to see them in person though.
These are pretty decent. What you call it?
Because they took
Nightwing, aka Wear Testers. He did a performance review on these that I just got done watching before this live, and they're fairly decent. Not bad at all. But again, that's one of those shoes that's like specifically geared towards the court. So would I buy them? No. But yeah, they're a nice shoe.
I mean, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but like Kim's saying, like she thinks they're flooding the market with the too many Kobe's. I think a lot of, well, at least some of these were planned for other times throughout the year, and they're just now getting to them.
Yeah.
So had they like nickel and dime their way through the year, maybe it wouldn't have been so bad. But
right.
And at the end of the day, like now it's like, to me, they need to put out a lot of numbers to like kind of curtail that people trying to like resell thing, because that is a factor. But for these, I like that they took, I don't know if it's like the top 5, top 10, whatever colorways, and just kind of took a little bit from each one. But I know on the right shoe on the back, like kind of like how this one has that black, like on the right one, it has like the SpongeBob pineapple thing from whatever release that was.
Right.
It has like this rock crater kind of thing going on. And if you look at enough of these, you'll see like the other elements.
Right.
So it's kind of a cool concept, but I'd like to see it in hand to see what it's really looking like.
I think Wear Testers said it was a combination of the SpongeBobs, the Paranormans, the Galaxies, the What Does, and maybe like 1 or 2 other ones. And he said it was from, I believe, now don't quote me on it because you can always go and check out his channel to see exactly what he said. But I think it was like a combination of like the 6s, the 4s, and maybe some other pair of Kyries. I don't remember.
Yeah, I'll have to. I heard they're easy to come by, so if I get a closer look, I'll talk to you later about them. But these LeBron, what was it? One is the Lakers, and the other one was James Gang, I think. I think that's the names of these. But I don't like this. I don't know, something about this I'm not okay with. Not sure what it is.
The whole 18 model as a whole.
I don't like this part around the toe where it like lifts up.
Right.
Like that.
Uglier.
But I mean the Lakers colorway it's not bad, right? Like if you just taking the model for what it is.
Right.
But yeah, and I'm going to assume that on the upper one, there's some sort of story behind this, right? Now, I'm not saying that because I'm expecting the story to sway your opinion, though sometimes it can kind of help. But maybe that would be something to at least give you some idea as to why it looks the way it looks.
I think JJ did a review on the top ones, if I'm not mistaken.
I am certain he did, but I am quite behind on people.
And when I watched his video, I didn't like him then either, because that clear, the way that clear heel just clashes with that black middle half, it's horrible. It is horrible. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Even JJ admitted that the way they brought that back and that front together was not a good idea. Those little, I don't know, those little pods on the tongue, I don't understand those either. But like the color blocking for that first one was horrible. I don't, regardless of the story, it was told horribly through that shoe. I don't know. I'm sorry, LeBron, but
yeah, I mean they're not all going to be winners. You know what I mean? But you would, I'm thinking, and not only because I haven't seen a lot of these, but I'm thinking this is a newer model. Is that right?
Yeah, the 18s.
So I would have hoped, and for his sake, that they would come out a little stronger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you come out with like a couple simple, just like, oh, well, here's black and gray. Here's like red and white. You know, like the normal colors that everybody can just kind of pick up and get into.
Gradually ease people into it.
Like the year that they came out with like those, what was it? And it was something to do with cooking. It was like a red and like a dark gray pair. I can't think of what year it was. I think it was like 2017, but maybe 2018. But either way, you know, he had a pair of shoes. I thought, okay, these are pretty nice. I'll have to look up what they were, but those aren't getting my attention. Now, I do like questions, so I'm always inclined to see what's going on with those. I think there's altogether maybe 2 more on this little list.
Yep.
But these 2 right here, not as big on the bottom one, right? The shiny thing isn't really for me. And I don't think I'd wear them much if I had them, but I do like that upper one.
Right.
Like
I don't know how old anybody in the chat is, but those bottom ones remind me of The Little Toaster That Could, or whatever that movie was called.
The Brave Little Toaster.
Yeah, the Brave Little Toaster. Those are horrible. The Ankle Reapers. Horrible shit. The idea, I was extremely pumped for the idea of that shoe. And I think I said that in like a live before these came out on Soul Center. I was extremely pumped for the Ankle Reapers above all the other shoes, because you had like the Shacknosis with the spider webs on them, and then you had the Jackakazis, which was the Kamikaze 2s. I was going to actually try and get these on GOAT, and then for whatever reason I was at the mall shopping and I saw these in foot action, and I mentioned it in my review of the Jackakazis, but I saw these and they look like garbage. Like I pressed the bubble had no air behind it. They just collapsed underneath my thumb. The materials on the upper were, gosh, it felt like the type of plastic that you get on a China special that's supposed to be patent leather. It just felt like straight trash bag plastic. I mean, I was to say disappointed is an understatement.
Man.
So these quickly moved from my number 1 choice to like my number 2 choice for the Boktober pack. And I think Kim did get the Shacknosis. I think she posted some videos of the Shacknosis on Instagram, which she needs to do a YouTube video review of those. Kim, if you're still here, we need a review.
Hey, you jump in and you can just knock out the review right here.
Right, absolutely. Because the glow on the shoes in her picture were insane. But the Jackakazis from that pack are crazy too. So,
and let's see what's after this. Okay. So now we're getting into some collaborational type things. So these 007 Ultra Boost, right? You know, for Mr. Connery.
R.I.P. to Sean Connery.
Yeah, so I still need to watch The Rock later. I didn't make time for it yesterday because I was watching Who Had the Heat, but it's sitting right there on the PlayStation, ready.
That'll at that statement, that'll be the time Kim jumps in and chokes you for not watching it yet.
Yeah, we'll leave that because I'm sure she will. But overall, though, the bottom pair, I don't know what's going on with that. It's a summer ready is the code name for that particular Ultra Boost.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna hold my judgment till I see it. The upper one is just your standard Ultra Boost 20.
Right.
Nothing you haven't seen, just a different colorway of it. And I think it's pretty decent. I'm normally not big on all black shoes, and this one, it's not really all black. And that the way they did the midsole there, you're probably picking up that I like different midsoles. So that one, this is one that I could see buying if it was like at a certain price point later.
Right.
A price point that I feel like it won't get to.
Give me like $100 or $90.
Yeah, right in that range, because that's where I usually get my Ultra Boost, honestly.
That second one, I know you can't really go wrong with basic colors, but yeah, this went wrong. That second one definitely needs a lot more color than the grayscale.
But see, what I like about it, well, as far as that particular model, is it seems that with like the different layers and textures or whatever, that you have some room to work with to make them stand out.
Right.
Like if you've ever seen like a multicolor multicolor Ultra Boost,
right?
They can look pretty nice.
It seems like there's some kind of like mesh material on top of another material, and if they would have thrown like some color underneath that mesh material, that would have been real nice.
See, that's exactly what I'm saying.
The model leaves way for like a possible like top 10 shoe of the year for Adidas, but just like how it is, nah.
Right. And I get it, maybe they took the simple route because again, these are both 007 releases, right?
Yeah.
So that could be a factor in it. Also, let me spread these out a little bit. There was like 4 of these things. So,
oh wow,
the human race. I don't remember all the names of them, honestly, but they all came out, right?
Yeah. So, I liked number 2 and number 4, the oatmeal. Those are about the only ones I liked from that one.
I'm on board with the 4th one, the sesame one, because it reminds me of the Sesame 350, which is one of my favorite colors of 350s.
But the price, I don't know. I mean, like there were other shoes that came out around this time, so I forewent, going for them. But I mean, they're nice. They're nice. They're not bad. They look funny because the trail bottom is no longer on them, and they're back to the original look. But
yeah, and Kim saying she wants to like the Pharrells, but it just doesn't connect. And that's my thing. I've seen a couple over the years because he released several that have stood out to me, but overall I've disliked most of them. So it's not one of those things where like when I hear, oh, there's some new human races coming up, I don't care. I'll look at the article if it scrolls back by again and I'm not busy, but I'm not going to stop anything I'm doing to look at it.
That is very true. Especially what she said, they don't fully connect. But I think maybe that was because in the beginning the hype was so crazy that you couldn't even think about getting a pair. But they're nice. I like them, but not all of them. I would say that.
Yeah. So what do you think about these Supreme Pluses, Air Max Pluses?
I was put off in the beginning. But then I looked at them and I was like, they're not that bad. I actually tried to go for the green pair and didn't get them, even though they sat for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Because before I bought them, I had to think about it. I had to say to myself, is this something I really want to pay that kind of money for?
Right.
Yeah.
And by the time I finally convinced myself to do them, they were sold out. I wasn't mad I missed out on them, but they're not a bad shoe. They're not big.
I mean, these basically could have been a regular Nike release. Like, some of you'll find that like Champs and House of Hoops just sitting on the shelf. And it didn't really wow me, like,
because like I saw them, and don't get me wrong, I mean, I like the Air Max Plus. It's definitely my top 3 like models or whatever for Air Maxes. But when I saw these, I was like, I'm already disinclined to like Supreme stuff because it's just like, thank you. I do like how it spells Supreme on the side, but like they have little flames and like the squiggles or whatever. Yeah. That's kind of a nice touch.
Oh, it does say Supreme, huh?
Yeah, but overall, I didn't really. I don't like the shoe a whole lot, but at the same, and also like green is a color that I like. So I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, well, it's an Air Max Plus, it's green, like I want this, like. But then that big Supreme will slap me in the face, like I dare you.
I was gonna say the fact that it was a Supreme did not drive me more towards wanting to buy it.
Yeah, it has the opposite effect on some people. Some people
that would have been a shoe if I would have bought it and got it in hand and didn't like it. I wouldn't have been mad because I knew I could resell it, and, get something out of it.
I did that with the last Supreme Air Max Plus. No, that was a Tailwind. The last Supreme Tailwind that came out last year. I got it in hand. Didn't really care for it too much. And just, I just sold it off. Barely over retail.
That's the thing. Like these, and I can see like tying up some money in something if you know you're going to make back whatever. But if you're trying to like look at what you're spending and think like, okay, well, I'm not going to get these because I want to get these later or whatever.
Right.
Looking at, let me throw out what is like 180 altogether, something on something, so I can maybe make like a good $30-$40 later. It's like at that point, I'm just gonna sit it out and just wait for whatever it is I want. You know what I'm saying? So when some random Ultra Boost releases, and I'm like, oh yeah, Sean Connery, then I'll pick those up. It'd be something that you're gonna wear more often.
Right.
So the unions, your thoughts?
I like the second pair better than the 4s. And I know that's gonna rattle some cages out there, but like the hype, I mean, the union hype actually made these a lot worse for me. I feel like if these were not a union collab, as crazy as people went for them, they probably wouldn't have gone half as crazy if these were just a regular Jordan 4. Because I get the theme behind cutting the thread and having it look like a regular 4 because they want you to kind of destroy your shoes or wear them or get at your shoes, so to speak. But I've seen people do so many different things to this shoe that I don't feel like you should have to do, especially at that price point. Because I've seen people like cut out the center for the wings, which makes it look 100 times better. I've seen people unstitch the tongue, fold it back up, and then sew the stitching back into the top of the tongue, which makes it look 100 times better. But I feel like you shouldn't have to do that with a shoe just to prove a point that you wear your shoes.
No, I think that, and I'm pretty sure everybody would agree that if you're going to spend a certain amount of money on something, it should be a complete package.
Yeah.
Good enough for you as it is, out of the store, out of the box, whatever. And so when I look at these, I think no, across the board. Like I don't like any of them, like not at all. Now, when it comes to customizing things, I get like certain shoes are made with that in mind, like the was it that I think Childish Gambino did some like canvas style shoes with Adidas a while ago, which were kind of lend themselves to like the customization. There have also been a couple other Adidas that were like that, where they're just plain, and Vans did some that the whole thing behind them was buying them, customizing them with like markers, and then showing them off. Because you know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like sometimes that's the whole point of something. But
Right.
this, people are just being sold it and like, hey, this is cool. You should buy it.
Right.
It's like, I don't know about all that.
I think the union hype hurt this shoe more than it helped it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but people got them. Well, I saw some people with them or whatever, so that's cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they sold out.
Yeah, right. So I don't know what
What
the
they
resale
retail
prices
for
look like
that.
and all that stuff. And then are those on here twice? Oh no, that's something else. And then as far as the more collaboratory things, so I'm gonna say straight up, I dislike everything about these fives. I disliked everything about the previous Off-White 5 as well. And I feel like I will dislike anything that they throw out for the next Off-White 5 if there is one, because their track record is god awful.
The black Off-White 5s, I did like them, of course, because I got a pair. The Fire Red 5, Off-White 5s, yeah. I don't. They're not Basuda, but they're not Off-White type.
It's one of those things where like when I saw some people like posting pictures of like the that bottom green shoe, whatever that thing was, and they're like, yeah, I got through. It's like, and then I posted that thing on Instagram, like, not every win is really a win, people.
Right,
you know?
right.
Like I look at some things and I'm like, ew.
Those fives, I do. I'm going to play a bit of devil's advocate. I do want those because I'm a completionist. But if I weren't such a completionist, I probably would just be like, I mean, and I'm not going to say that, but I still carry the same attitude of, okay. But the completionist in me says, get them, stop playing. But those Off-White, what they call them, the Nike Dunk Off-White rubbers or something like that. Yeah, when people were going crazy and saying, "Oh snap, I got them," I looked at those and I said, "I can see why," because the average person didn't want them. Those are leftovers. But I mean, I guess you take your wins as you can because those are hideous.
Yeah, and Kim was saying like she doesn't like how they look like old shoes, and Payne's saying like that is the point, right? It's
Right.
like those Nigel Sylvesters, like I liked those, even though a lot of people like I don't like how they're made to look more. It's like I get that, but I just like how it worked out on this particular pair.
Yeah,
but,
the point is for them to be aged.
Right. But these, honestly, I don't like anything on my screen I'm on this PDF, right? You're fine. You and Jeezy are fine. You guys in the chat, you're fine. This middle section now with these, I don't like any of these three shoes.
Dunks are okay.
The dunks are the best of the bunch easily because they're plain and simple and whatnot. But something about them, I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it.
Well, I'll tell you the different aspects. So it's got that clear midsole. Then the Nike swoosh wraps all the way around to the back to the high point of the ankle collar and connects with the other Nike swoosh on the other side.
Yeah,
it is like a collaborative dunk.
It's like Slam Jam, I think.
Yeah, Slam Jam, and then they did a different take on the perforation of the shoe because as you can see, it's got a straight line going across, and then on the
right, because I zoomed in a little bit.
It's got a straight line going straight down the middle instead of the entire toe box being perforated. But they're all right. I saw them. I had a chance to try and grab them. I sat and looked at the picture on Nike Sneakers app, and my finger was hovering above the buy now button, but it just didn't tap it, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, they at first I thought maybe they weren't like completely bad, but then like sometimes like the longer you look at something, the more you start
Yeah,
to see that you don't like it. Because like the
yeah,
first glance, like honestly, like if you had never seen that before, and someone just like held it up and then put it back down, you'd be like, I didn't get a good look at it, but it seemed decent, just black and white.
right.
It's like, yeah. But then as I sit here now, then I was like zooming in and you were breaking it down. I was like, yeah, I don't like these.
Because at first glance, they reminded me of the panda dunks that came out for women.
Hmm. I vaguely remember that. What I don't remember at all, other than something that King's 23 Kicks mentioned, was either of these
Those
questions.
are hideous. What are those?
The top one is beepers and butts, like cigarette butts, and the bottom one is like chains or something. It was a BBC ice cream collaboration, and
Oh, okay.
yeah,
I
yeah,
was gonna say, of all the things you could choose to throw on a shoe, you want to throw cigarette butts on a shoe?
yeah. I don't know what is going on with these two shoes here. I don't know now, because that's the thing. Like, I'm not gonna look up why these shoes exist. I
Right.
just accept
No.
the fact that I do or don't like them, right? Like I like the Master 12s. I didn't know that those were based on a poster until I saw me and my kicks video the other day, right?
Right.
I just accepted the fact that it's a nice looking shoe. Why they
Right.
called it the Master, didn't care. Why was it all mostly black? Didn't care. I just know that it worked out. Yeah, and like Optimistic saying, they definitely could have kept those.
Right.
But oh my god, it's so bad. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
let
Yeah.
me bring that in just a little bit for you.
Yeah.
It's
Is that a two-way? Is that a beeper?
yeah, because it's beepers and butts is the name of that shoe. Like I'm not making that up. You can Google it right now if you want to.
Oh my goodness! This just gets worse when you zoomed in on it.
Yeah. And then this one has something to do with like chains and names. It's like there's like gold chains and they have some names on there or something. But oh man, both of them. I was like, what is this? Like, what is going on over here?
Somebody did this.
Because they'll make Reebok will put out some pretty nice questions, whether it be mid, low, whatever, and then they'll put out some other stuff. And this is that other stuff. And so we're going to move on to something else Reebok put out a couple days ago, the Ghostbusters shoes.
I like the top ones. Mike Rich did a review on those top ones. Those are nice. Nostalgia got me with these, like Tony D and Bullet RC said with those bottom ones. Had you not known the theme behind this shoe, you would have been like, what in the hell are these? And why are they even an option to buy? But knowing they're Ghostbusters, I absolutely get them.
Yeah.
And for that reason alone, I'd say yes. But as a standalone shoe, so what they call it, the Ghost Stompers or something like that?
The Ghost Smasher was the bottom one. I forget what they
Yeah.
the top one. The top one's just like a standard Reebok classic.
Yeah.
But these things, man.
You want to hate them, but you don't. You want to love them as well.
It's like the bottom one looks like something that somebody would take like whatever else and they mod it in the ways to create this. And then people would be like, oh, you know what? They did a pretty good job on this because I get it. But when you see it in a store, you're like, wait a second. Like,
Yeah.
You made this, huh?
Right.
It's like, I mean, I got nothing to say about the top one. The top one is fine, right? I get that whole thing. And then honestly, if it was just like a standard release, you know what I'm saying? Maybe change that little caution tape on the back. I could see getting behind these, right? Because I do like that like cloth vibe that they have going on, that fabric. But that bottom thing is not okay to me. And yeah, like people are saying they're good for like Halloween parties, you know. The piping could be removed.
That's what I was thinking.
Like,
you could remove that whole proton pack off the back. These would actually be fairly decent because a lot of people love the aliens shoes that Reebok did. So, I mean, if you love the aliens ones,
the alien,
you can't really be mad at these.
Right, and that's the thing. Like, I like that they do this stuff because like the concept, the idea is good, right? Like you take something and like you mix it in with at the right time, relevant, and then you put it out there, right? In hopes that they'll continue to do this over time. Looks like Homegrown may have clicked the wrong button and kicked himself out. But then sometimes the stuff that they make is not so great. But like you hope that it sells enough that they keep the idea going with other releases.
Right.
Like when Adidas made those Beavis and Butthead shoes, I was there. I bought both of them, right? Well, no, I bought 2 out of the 3 because I think there was a third pair I couldn't get behind. Because when you don't buy the stuff,
I think actually,
you think what?
Yeah, I mean Reebok has been doing it. I was saying Reebok has done a good job with like the novelty sneakers, like in comparison to Nike. I think like Nike only really has the Air Mag as a novelty shoe, but these and like Homegrown said, the alien stompers that they had last year, the year before last. I feel like Reebok does a good job when it comes to like putting a product like this out, like you said, something relevant like Ghostbusters. It makes sense for you to put something out like this,
right?
But the second, Oh, go ahead.
No, because like it's looking really good. Like they put some time into it. It's not over the top crazy, you know.
Right. All right.
Then the lower one, like I said, it's just it's a little much for me. I also feel like that. I mean, I don't know how bulky that side piece becomes or how good it is on there, but like if that thing broke in any kind of way, I would not be happy about it. And it looks like it could be easily broken or snapped or something. The more parts you have, you know. And then Atmos did these Insta pumps. So that happened at some point. I don't know when, somewhere in October, obviously.
I'm glad I didn't see it.
Yeah, you're seeing it now. And then the Minions also had some Insta pumps. I saw like 16 Insta pumps, and I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm not talking about all of these. Because these were, like Minion related, I want to say.
Right.
Yeah, because the bottom one is like the Fury something, and then the other one was whatever they call it, just Minion something. But I was like, are people really buying Insta pumps like that? Or maybe this was like a children's release. And then there was the Bruise Lab, right? I think that's what they called it. The question.
Think so, yeah.
And it's like, I like what they're doing. Again, I like the idea of what they're doing, but I don't always like the execution.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's the question, Kim. Who is buying the Insta pumps? Like, I have been furiously scouring Instagram for days. Not really. I just heard about them this morning. But if I see anybody, maybe I just need to look up like hashtag Instapump and just see who's wearing these. And then I'll click on it like, oh, look, Tim Strong wearing these down by the harbor.
Yeah, I think they just put it out because they haven't put an Instapump out like almost a year now. So they probably just putting colorways out just to say, oh, we still have these.
Didn't realize it was removable. But yeah, so but what do you think about these though? These questions?
Not my favorite. I'm gonna say that for sure.
Oh yeah, I feel like that is most people's review. That are being
like definitely some Terminator 10-man vibes on this.
Yeah, because like, I mean, honestly, my first thought would have been Bane, like from Batman, because like, it made sense. But yeah, I mean, I guess you could throw this in line with a lot of things, really. Call them like the Weapon X ones, anything. These came along at some point last month.
Right.
I've been seeing these in my local finish line. They are not selling, it seems, at least around here. But I don't know. I like the color choices. I'll give them that.
Right. I mean, it's nostalgic.
Right, but
it's something to go with whatever you want to pair it up with, a Laker uniform for Shaq or whatever.
Oh yeah, because this was another part of the Minions release, so I get why they did the yellow, but
right.
I don't know, man. And then I think we're at the end here. Got a couple not Vapor Maxes, a couple Air Maxes going on in here. So the top one is another Vapor Max 20, which I like this color. This right. might be one to go for. I've been waiting on hopefully them dropping in price, which hasn't quite happened yet because I don't want to. I don't know. I don't like a lot of things about the way these shoes look, but I want to try them out, and I want to try them out at a price closer to what I want to pay,
right?
Not what Foot Locker wants me to pay. There's a slight difference.
Give me a second.
So, what's that? No, because he's stepping away for a second. And then like these lower ones, yeah. See, like the price on these is $220, and that is $220 is in that price range where you gotta want what you're about to buy, right? Now, I mean, I don't know how you guys are, like what kind of money you guys are working with over there, but for me, $220 is in that price range where it's like there's some second and third thoughts going into those purchases most of the time, right? Especially given that I try to stay under a certain amount per month for just my like random purchases outside of like food and water. Yeah, when it comes to like shoes and wrestling figures, I try to stay under a certain amount. And that $220, it's enough to make me think. Now, these Air Max 90s or these Air Max 3s as they were in some places, the laser blues, those, I do like those a lot. And I'm glad that they haven't sold out because maybe I'll be able to get these at some point. But they've just taken a back seat to a couple things. See, yes, like Optimistic said, $120, and now we can talk, right? And that's around where these tend to sit. But then the thing is, like, if they sit a little bit longer, you can get an Air Max, like you play your cards right, you can pull one off like that high $80, low $90 range, like after everything's said and done. And that's what I'm trying to get on, right? So hopefully everybody stays distracted with, some Jordan releases or some Supreme releases or whatever's coming up for Black Friday. If anybody knows what's coming up for Black Friday, let me know, because I'm honestly not sure. But yeah, what is coming up for Black Friday? It's not too far away from now, so probably something. But yeah, these Air Max 3s though, or Air Max 90s, whatever you want to call them, they're definitely worth considering, but I feel like they'll be doable easily for under retail. So gonna hold strong on those. And then some of you guys saw these. They haven't released everywhere just yet. Fire Red 4s. Well, the cat's out of the bag on those. Like now they're just releasing the other batch later. As far as I'm concerned, the release of those was earlier this week, the Fire Red 4s, especially since people like, you got yours, right, Jeezy?
No, I didn't get mine. I think only Kim Strong and probably every other YouTuber.
Kim got hers without even buying the 2-day shipping. They just sent them that quickly. So a lot of people got through on those from what I saw.
Right.
And I'm sure a fair amount will get through later. But do you know what else is coming up for Black Friday?
I think a Kobe's supposed to come out. I think the Reebok Kobe's supposed to come out. But I'm not even 100% sure on that. I think they pushed Fire Red 4 a day later.
Okay, and Vlogging is getting his tomorrow. So like we were talking about last night, Jeezy, on the text messages and stuff, like it looks like Nike is got things kind of under control with their shipping because
Right.
I got my shipping notice today for the mochas from yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So because there have been other times
And I
like
got my right. I ordered mine Thursday and it came Friday, and I was like, I didn't even order the 1 day shipping.
yeah, see, because I remember like when you told me about the orange Air Max 90s, like over the summer, those and by the time they like sent me the shipping confirmation, I'd almost forgot about them.
Right.
Oh, apparently Kim's special, so she gets special shipping. Excuse us. Us common folk, we get excited when things work out in our favor. So these Air Max 90 De Los Muertos, what'd you think about these?
I actually like them, to be
They're
perfectly
very
honest with you.
festive. Um,
I thought it was supposed to be a part of that La Familia pack.
I mean, do you know? I can't really tell for sure from here. I'm trying to see like what materials they might be because I feel like it's not like your normal 90 materials. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, it could be, but I just looking at it, you would think that it'd be something else. You would think it would have like some texture to it on these different areas. Hey, the real E double, what's going on, man? I saw you pop up in there a second ago and forgot to like acknowledge that, so my mistake. But yeah, these aren't too bad. I mean, it's not for me, right? It's a little, I don't know. I like shoes that have a lot going on sometimes, but this particular one isn't for me. But I can see why it had a little bit of a tension going in there because again, you release enough standard colorways, eventually you kind of want to throw some other stuff out there. And then finishing things off, there was a very simple Air Max 97. It does glow in the dark. This was the Halloween release that was in, it was also in Finish Line. And I saw it initially and I was thinking, okay, well, that's kind of cool, because the glow in the dark thing, I do like that. And I like 97s. But the timing of these, I think I had, because I had spent more than I expected to. So, because I didn't know that the naturals were coming out, which dipped into my shoe/action figure budget. And I was like, well, looks like this is the last pair of shoes I'm buying until November, which, was just, which is now, I guess, but still, I'm not going back for these. That's for sure. It's not that serious. If there's any amount of resell on them, no. And even still, like, I'd like to have them, but I wouldn't put in work to have them. I'd probably forget about these almost immediately. Wait, what are you talking about, Ken, when you say that you wish they released in the States? Did those 90s not come out in the States? I assumed it was just like a wide release everywhere. Yeah, let's see. But yeah, because when I'm looking at these things, I'm usually just going by like the pictures and stuff, seeing what people are putting up and all that. Let's see, I had to make a choice in the Fire Red 4s and one over the 97s. I could see that. I mean, especially like if the 4s were like right there for you. I feel like these 97s might be around later for prices that are right in line with retail because it seems like it's a situational shoe, right? Like it's good for Halloween, sure, but if they just released the shoe at some point last week, you probably weren't going to have it in time for Halloween unless you're Kim Strong. So it seems like a bad choice to have done that to me. Like I think these should have come out like maybe 2 to 3 weeks ago, just so people could have them and be ready for Halloween. I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see. But anyway,
Yeah, we're going, brother.
So we're good on that then, on these 97s. We can go ahead and take those down. But all right. So what's that? Oh, I thought you were saying something to me. Yeah, so the Day of the Dead
No,
97s or 90s didn't release here. The ones Daybreak Blazers released. Okay, well that's unfortunate because I mean I get that that's how that works and all that stuff, but still it just kind of sucks when you see something released everywhere else. Are they going to release it here and it just hasn't happened yet, or what? I guess that's the other question because sometimes stuff again like those blue cement threes, they popped up in other places but not really around here. So what can you do? But now that we've done that,
right.
now Jeezy's not on camera. No, otherwise, this is where he'd be showing off some of his shoes or whatever that he purchased. But
Right.
since he isn't, I got a couple right here, so I'll do that real quick. We're gonna start with take that out. Only because where's that big screen button? Because I am a foams guy, of course. I couldn't do this one alone. E-Money Shoes had to help me out with these because when they came out, they sold out immediately on the 2 stores that had them. But then they trickled into retail stores over the next however many days. So they got over there to Hawaii, and he let me know because he was on his way to pick up his pair. And I'm like, well, if you see a 9 or 9.5, I'll take either one. And so here we are, $230 later. Proud owner of the Anthracite Foamposite 1, which is good because I did want them when I first saw the videos, reviews, and all that stuff. But then, let me change that view. But then after I saw that they sold out, I was like, well, all right, guess I'm not going to have that. I'm super quick to move on. Like when I saw that they were out of stock, I was like, well, if they're not going to be in stock and go on sale, I don't want them. But this was one of those times where since he said, hey, I can get these right now, I was like, you know what? Let's do it, right? I'll be glad I got them later. And then also my other personal top pick for October, let me find this here. The Air Max 90 Safari. So I won these through a raffle on Gosh, a site over in Great Britain. So I don't know when they're coming out in the States. I believe they are, though. I think it just hasn't happened yet. So whenever that does happen, I totally suggest at least going for them because they are some very nice shoes. Quality is pretty solid. And I really like those laces that they put in there. Some people have seen these and asked me if those were like laces that I found somewhere or bought after the fact or whatever. Nope, these are the standard laces that come in these things. So if you have to be a 90s person, Air Max 90s person, definitely go ahead and consider getting these because I think that you'll find them to be worth it. That's my
those are nice.
If you haven't seen like the full-on review. The full-on review is basically just longer and has an on feed in there. But I still suggest watching it if you haven't because, you know, why not, right? But I see Homegrown is obviously not going to be showing off anything either. Let's see. It looks like such a bulky shoe even for a 9. Like that Foamposite was actually a 9.5 because they didn't have the 9. Personally, like with the Foamposite ones, like the 9 is like my preferred fit. But you know, I can do a 9.5. That's no problem. It just has a little bit more room in there than I want. Not enough to be a problem. It's just, you know how it is. With every shoe that you're into, you have the size that you prefer and your backup size if that size isn't available.
Okay.
Right? Like
so, with those 90s, what would you say? Like for anybody that's buying them, would you say go true to size if you have a regular foot or size a half a size up?
I would say they fit like, to me, they fit like the average Air Max 1 as well. So if you have any of those, so for me, that's a true to size thing, right? And I know sometimes there's like the whole thing of like different materials can make something fit a little bit different or whatever. I've got no problems with these. Wearing these compared to some of the other 90s that I have, earlier 90s in this year, like the recrafted ones, do feel a little bit different because they're cut different, but the sizing is still the same. It's just that the other ones they have different materials, they're cut different, so they're more comfortable than these. But when you look at those, you can tell they're not like the standard style. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
you get all that safari print and all that other stuff on there. You just got to kind of make some adjustments. Same thing that King's 23 Kicks was saying about the Crater Air Max 90s, where like the size, like I think that he said like the sizing was still what he expected it to be. It's just when you wear them, they just feel a little different because they have different materials, right? But overall, yeah, I would say stick with whatever you buy in your average 90, or excuse me, in your average Nike, with the exception of like Prestos, I guess, because those are their own size layout. You know, that whole like large, extra large, small, or even before, or even other ones where they were only like in whole sizes. That whole thing, I'm not always a huge fan of. K Dub, what is going on, man? I appreciate that little donation to help keep the lights on. It is greatly appreciated. And that'll go into right back into the community later when I do later giveaways for this month.
Those donations are greatly appreciated. That helps keep everything going. The support definitely helps keep everything going.
Because that's the thing. It's like I was saying in that video I did a couple of weeks ago, like when I do get my little YouTube money or whatever you call it, that's usually to kind of help break even on the giveaways and stuff. So like when I'm doing like the sneaker battle things, which will be happening again soon. I've got 2 ideas for some of those. And I think Trey J said he wants a rematch against what's his name, Luke Kang Kicks. So I guess there's probably 3 coming up. But
that was a tough one. I think for Trey J, we got to get him a list, because a lot of the things that hurt him with his sneaker battle was he was missing the mark on some of his shoes. Like as far as the questions were concerned, he wasn't exactly bringing out the shoes that answered the questions. But I think maybe like a preemptive.
I mean, and I get that, but because sometimes it's a thing of like the clarity of the question. Like it might make sense to person A, and then person B is thinking something else.
Right.
But there was one where there was a question about like pony hair or something, and he pulled out like the Laney ones.
Yeah. That was one of those questions that stood out to me, because I was gonna say, like, he didn't have a bad shoe choice, even though his shoes are only Jordans. He didn't have a bad shoe choice, but
okay.
I just couldn't give him the points based on the fact that like they were not pertaining to the questions that were being asked. So
right. And my thing about that was like, because I don't know a lot about a lot of shoes, to be completely honest. So when he pulled it out, like my first thought was, I don't think, because I was thinking things like those certain 6s or certain like those Bugs Bunny or those Bunny 7s that came out recently, something that actually like had fur on it that I could remember. And when he pulled those out, I was thinking, I don't think those match the question, but I just leave that up to the person who asked the question, right? If they want to say it's a disqualification or whatever, okay, cool, whatever. And then when McFly put his vote, he was like, well,
sorry, I don't understand.
What? Oh, I must have triggered that. So when McFly put out his vote, he's like, I'm going to go with this guy because his answers the question better than this one.
Right.
Or it just answers the question in general. I was like, okay, so it wasn't just me.
Because like sneaker battles are definitely fun. I just think, you know, a lot of people, like I said again, people have to pay attention to the question, or if you don't understand the question, you know, it's best that regardless of the time you think it might take up, it's best that you ask for clarification. I would love to do another sneaker battle. I'm always open for it, but I would love to add some diversity to mine before I do it.
Okay.
So I probably wouldn't do another sneaker battle until next year, but never say never. I always say.
Well, and there's always the tag team option because then, that kind of splits things up a little bit. So because then you only
Right,
need
right.
so much.
And,
'Cause, like,
and
especially if you know
I
your
think,
partner, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And so if you need to call in that hot tag or whatever, because that's one that I would like to do again as well. But I'll talk to you and Jeezy later about some ideas that I have, so then we can make those
uh,
happen. Because it's some stuff kind of clicked in my head earlier when I was
right,
doing
right.
things completely unrelated to this, and I was like, it'd be a cool idea. It's like I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna run it by some people and see if they're on board with jumping in to judge some things. Not many people are. But yeah, we'll see you next year. Okay, so wait, optimistic. Are you saying you'll wait until next year to do it, or would you? When would you be good? Because that's the thing. It's like I said before. After today, I mean, I'm gonna record some videos when this is done, but I'm not gonna really be behind the camera again for like a little while because taking a little break and all, just to
Right.
refresh for no real reason other than just to do it every several weeks. Because I think my last one was it August, September. I just know that I was pretty busy. Yeah, I was pretty busy through October. September was my one of my slower months towards the end. But yeah, so it's like now it's time to just step back for a second, you know. But
Right.
optimistic. What are you saying? Are you up for doing one? When would you be up for like a tag team thing? Because we might be able to get could possibly do like I know BX has brought it up before. I talked to him, could do that with him, and then go against maybe you and somebody else or whatever. But because I don't want to put people on the spot right now, say make everybody look at them. But it's something to think about, right? Because again, I get that there's other stuff out there, right? A lot of people are doing that whole thing, but like when you have a tournament style thing, it kind of adds a little more stress to it in some ways because
Yeah.
that like okay, well, the decisions I make today will matter like later. It's like no, when I just do these exhibition matches, it matters for the night,
Mm-hmm.
period. And it's
Fact.
all just for fun,
Fact.
we jump in there, we do it. If you win, you win. It's like you don't move on to anything, you just won. I mean, you get the little gift card, I guess, if it's on the ones that I put together. But other than that, it's like it's not like a big deal. You know what I'm saying? And I think
Right.
some people may not realize
Think
that, which is why they hold off on joining in. What are you about to say?
No, I think some people do take these sneaker battles to heart. I think it just makes people question their own like collections for the most part.
Right.
Like as far as like, the depth they could have. Like some people may not have a Puma or some type of New Balance or even a Saucony. So I think that kind of makes people question their ability to like join these battles.
And on the bigger scale, well, I would say on like the more popular ones, I feel like they
Yeah.
people think they need to have certain types of releases, like high end or not, like limited collaborations or OG Jordans or whatever the case is.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like the ones that we've done around here have been the questions have been very open.
Right.
Like let's see a running shoe. Like that could be anything, right? If you're an
Right.
Adidas
Something with
guy,
3M
pull out
or
your Adidas.
yeah.
If you're an Air Max guy, pull out an Air Max. Or like when 313 had a question of like, pull out a shoe that would brighten your day when you look at it, something that just makes you feel good for whatever reason. Or pulling out like a shoe that you think is underrated. That could be
Right.
anything. So and I try to show that through like the battles and stuff. So when people see what people are pulling out, it's like you get that idea. You're like, oh, okay, so I can pretty much roll in here with anything and be fine.
Mm-hmm.
I
Right.
can come in here and we can do this one-on-one battle, even if all I have is a bunch of Vapor Maxes and some Kyries, as long as I've got enough colorways and materials in them, I can do this, you know?
Right.
So when we ask, like, pull out a predominantly leather shoe, all right, yeah, there's a lot of those out there. Like that question about like a shoe that says Nike Air on the back, there's a lot of those. I mean, some of you guys can probably think of more off the top of your head than I can, but I only think like the Air Max 90. But then
Air Max 1.
Bobby Sneaker World, what's going on, man? Appreciate you stopping by. So that's the thing. It's like I'll have to figure some stuff out, but maybe because I don't think there's anything coming up super soon that I want, which is good because that's part of the break thing. Let's see. What am I looking forward to next month? I was just about to say that. Yeah, it's like since there's nothing really that I'm looking forward to that I can think of, I figure like that's why this is like a good time to kind of step away. And then also by the time like stuff comes around, it'll be at least a couple days. And even if anything comes in, like I might record the review or something and just deal with it later. I don't know. But what I can think of for this month is honestly nothing, because I know that there's a red and black pair of 12s coming up, but I think that's supposed to be December. And I haven't seen any 350s for November, but sometimes those like don't pop up until like within a week or 2
weeks. Yeah.
Oh wait, there's something. Those infrared 90s come out soon, right?
That comes out on the 9th.
So that's something. I like those, but I don't have the same like, I don't know, sought afterness to go after them like others do. What about you guys?
Definitely the infrared 90s this coming week, and probably more likely the Japan Navy Jordan 1s.
Oh yeah, I do like those.
And the Fire Red 4s. And
those are gonna be hard to get.
Yeah. What, the Fire Red 4s?
Oh, those Navy.
Oh yeah,
Tokyos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the Fire Red 4s. Yeah, I got those.
Yeah. And
remind me when stuff's coming up, because I'm not going for any of those, so I can put my name in the hat for you or something.
I'm gonna say a lot of those are bunched up for around the 11th or something like that.
Same time.
Because I don't. Because for me,
and those black and gold Jordan
11th
1s.
of November. Let's see. The Muertos are another one that I want. Those What the 5s.
Those I like those 5s, and I wouldn't mind having them, but not enough to buy them.
Those are
right.
Those are on the 12th. Those are one of those shoes that are so different. Even when I saw the mock-up photos, I said I had to have those. So those are a must.
Oh, my PS5 ships on the 12th.
Oh yeah, they are dropping.
Yeah, mine ships on the 12th.
Didn't they do like an in-store thing today or something like that?
I seen something for the Xbox.
Forgot about it that quick. I'm gonna be upset. I gotta look. Target.
Yeah, I seen something for the Xbox on the 12th, on the 10th.
So I gotta end up with these when
I still have a whole pile of PlayStation 4 games that I have not done anything with. So I have put the PS5 on the back burner.
I didn't get a pre-order. By putting this up, I'm probably shooting myself in the foot because Shoes Up has a lot of followers. But Target says that they're going to have them in store November 10th. So
expect the line.
I will definitely be standing somewhere in front of somebody's Target early in the morning in the cold, trying to get me an Xbox because I need it that bad.
And I haven't bought a system on launch day since the Wii U, actually. And it was not worth it. It's cool.
I was gonna say, I see why that was the last time you brought a
Yeah.
system on launch day.
Because like, and what's
Yeah, I
crazy
think
was
the
like,
last one. The last thing I bought on launch day was the PS3. I waited for the 4. I waited a whole year before I got the 4.
I had driven past a Toys R Us when PS3s were launching, like that morning, and I was like, because I was up early, and I was like, you know what, let me see what the line is like. And I went there, and there's probably like 5 people sitting outside of Toys R Us, like, I'm going home. I don't have time for this. And so, yeah, I have very strict standards on waiting for things sometimes. And then with the Wii U, I figured like nobody. I was staying at a friend's house that night for whatever reason. I think because we were all over there really late. I was like, you know what? The Wii's come out in the morning. This dude lives next to a Target, so I'll just go over there in the morning. Yeah, so I'll just stay here. So I went over there, and around 7:30, whenever they were opening, I saw people kind of start to like walk out of their cars to the store. I'm like, well, let me go on in here, see what's going on. And they kind of sent us all to the back, and they only had like 2 or 3 of the black deluxe ones. And I just happened to be like towards the front of the line, and I got the last one that they had. And then as I'm walking away after paying for it, some guy is like trying to talk to like the people in the line, like the cashier type people, like, hey, do you have more for like the people who've reserved some? Because I reserved one of those, and I'm hearing this, and I'm thinking like, well, clearly I have just bought this man's Wii, and I'm done with this store, so I'm going home. So good luck to him. I hope it works out. I have no idea if it worked out or not.
Super Nintendo.
The Super Nintendo. I got the. Wow, she has. I mean, to be fair, the Super Nintendo had some good things for it. I wouldn't say it's the stopping point to say like, you know what, this is the peak of video games.
Right. I mean, if you would have said Nintendo 64, I could understand that.
I didn't even have a lot of Super Nintendo games. Now that I think about it, I think that's where I had that Page Master game. I had Super Mario World, as did most people. I had one of those Donkey Kong games. Man, right?
Page Master was underrated.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I like the movie. I even, as a matter of fact, when I went to see the movie, they were giving out pins, and I still have that pin from the Page Master. The movie, The Phantom, with I forget his name, but they were giving out the Phantom rings. And I still have that floating around here somewhere too. So
yeah, they gave us like bookmarks for the Page Master at our theater. I was like, "This is it."
You know, like speaking of like the systems and like being buggy early on, honestly, like outside of the last time I saw problems with systems that were released early or whatever was the 360 and the overheating thing.
Yeah.
I haven't like with the PS4, the Xbox One. I don't have one, but I just, sometimes you just hear things. The Switch. I haven't heard any systems having problems in a long time. So
I have.
I mean, I get the like
Xbox One.
Say that again.
And, no, I was saying I have the day one Xbox One, and never had a problem with it up until now because it's old as dirt. The laser stopped reading, but everything else works. Just the laser, so it doesn't read discs, but that doesn't hurt me because everything is digital download at this point.
Yeah. So. And again, if you've had it since day one, that's like 5 years, maybe.
It's a little bit more than that. I think they said it's like 10 years old or something like that.
Yeah. Okay, well, even better than in that case. But yeah, like don't get me wrong, like one thing that makes me sometimes want to wait on stuff is like knowing that they'll release a more powerful or cheaper or smaller version of it later. Remember when they had like the PS2 and then they had that like that DVD case sized PS2?
Yeah, I had that one.
It's like, wait, where was this?
Yeah, and then it came with a stand. I mean, well, you had to buy the circular stand that sits it upright separately, but apparently the stand was a rarity for the PS2, and like they were selling the little stands, or if you had a PS2 with the stand, they were selling those for like $500. They were going for crazy prices.
Man, I remember when the network adapter came out for the PS2, that was going for a lot of money. I had pre-ordered one on Best Buy so I could play Tony Hawk 3 and 4. But yeah, if I hadn't,
cult classic.
But Optimistic's saying like, how do people have time for video games? Like, that's what I do. Okay, I'm not gonna say I don't have time for video games, but I don't use that time for it, which is why I have all those games that outside of Tony Hawk 5, or excuse me, Tony Hawk 1+2.
Right.
I haven't really touched my PS4 in a long time. I've got some games over there that I would like to play, like Last of Us 2, you know? Some of the games that I bought downloaded through sales and stuff. I have a lot of them that I want to play. But
I'm not even gonna lie to you. Now, years ago, I had time to dedicate towards like heavy gaming because I used to play Assassin's Creed for 3 and 4 days at a time just to finish it, or play Halo, Marathon, Madden, and all of that. But I don't think I've touched a game in about 3 years now. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've actually sat and dedicated time to play a game.
It's been about that for me, like since one of the last Tomb Raider games, because like, wow, I still get every so often I'll get super into one thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen often, like not at all often. But the Tomb Raider series from like many years ago is one that I can generally get into.
Right.
But otherwise, like I look at some stuff and kind of like what Optimistic is kind of saying, it's like I'll often look up the length of the game to see how long it is if you just play the game and don't really do any of the extra stuff.
Right.
And when they're like, oh, this is like 35 hours long, I'm like, what? No.
Absolutely not.
Like that may not even be a lot of time. I don't know. But then I'll play like Call of Duty and it's like, okay, well, when they used to have campaigns, because it's like you can get through the campaign in a week if you play like an hour a day. Well, okay. That's doable. I just want to see what happens at the end. I'm not invested in this.
Yeah, it's like
you have a question down there in the chat. So Homegrown, you just want the PS5 Xbox just to have it?
Basically, that's what it's gotten down to now. I still like to play Madden. That's probably one of the only games that I play Assassin's Creed, but I will say that now, because of course I work full time, other things go on in life, and then adding YouTube and IG and all of that to it, it doesn't leave much time to play games. Like if I actually decided to sit down and play a game, I'd probably only be sitting down for 30 minutes, which is, when you think of it, it's a waste. Now, if I completely deleted out YouTube, then I'd have maybe an hour to do it. But
that's why, like, I recently, somewhere over the summer, I was playing a lot of Tekken Bowling on the newest, on Tekken 7, because that's entertaining. Like, I can turn it on, I can play a couple rounds, 10, 15 minutes later, I turn it off, and I move on with my day. Because this YouTube thing, which is, again, part of the reason for not doing it all the time, it can be time consuming, you know?
Yeah.
Because like you spend, I mean, I've made the video documenting this process. You spend a bunch of time doing stuff to make videos happen. And then even after the video is done, you still got to like interact with the people who are asking you questions so you can go post them on Instagram and let people see what they're saying.
Because I kid you all not. For the for the Reebok Jackakazi video that I did, I think because usually my weekends are the time when I just cut everything completely out and give myself the entire day. But I kid you all not, just for 15 seconds of that intro, it took me, let me see, I think I started that video yesterday at about 11:30 that morning, maybe I was a little bit lazy and started at 12. I'll give myself some leeway, but I started that video at 12, and just those 15 seconds of editing and whatnot took me. I didn't finish editing those 15 seconds. It took me about 3.5 hours to do that. And keep in mind, people, that I recorded that video and recorded the shoes the day before. So that's with prep. The editing process just took that long. And I don't like after I finished, because I had to take about a 30-minute break because I had some stuff to do. But after that 30 to 40-minute break, I didn't finish uploading that video until about 9:30 at that night.
Man.
So, I mean, it's like YouTube is definitely a process.
That's
and just hearing that, because I don't get extraordinary views. So just hearing that, you gotta understand that, like, it's because you like to do it. If you don't like to do it, I would not at all recommend you getting into it. But to get back on the consoles a little bit, hey, if you don't play games, at least you got a good streaming box. I mean,
what? No. I'm going to stop you right there because you need to be stopped right there. You can get a good streaming box for like $30, $40 and be,
that's true.
You know, streaming takes very little to happen. You go get one of those new Chromecasts, assuming you're like of the Android type people, those are pretty solid. Actually, you know what? I take that back because the new ones have the remote, so you don't even need to do the casting. Or you get like an Amazon Fire or whatever, and you'll be good. But you do that, right? Get all your little apps on there, you know, your Disney Pluses and your Hulus and whatever, and you're fine. You don't need some like PS5 taking up all the space and like putting this huge dent in your power bill just so you can stream the Uber. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be just fine. See, she's like, oh, I got the phone, iPad, whatever. Yeah. So then you save that money and maybe buy yourself a nice camera or something so you can record your YouTube videos.
That is very true.
I use this because it's been working out so far, and why change? But yeah, like you were saying, from editing, from when you sit down in the chair to when you're like done and you're clicking like save or export or encode, whatever, however the software works, I spend a lot of time on a lot of little things. I'll put more time into like flashing some picture of the Undertaker across the screen than I will into like the actual substance of the review.
Right.
2-second clip that you don't notice because it only happens while I say something. I do that stuff all the time. Every so often somebody sees it. But it's funny to me. And then if someone notices it, I'm like, well, yeah, hey, I did put that in there. That's okay. Good on you for noticing that. Yeah. See, he's not selling anybody on this PS5. It's a lot of money. If you got $500 to spend on some stuff, I mean, you could go buy like a new TV. You could buy yourself like I don't know what else, like maybe a pair of shoes, some dinner, you know, and
I am going to buy the PS5. I do
and
have
still have some money left.
Yeah, I do have the intent on playing Madden, Halo, and Assassin's Creed. So I promise you guys that are putting out that argument that, you know, might as well not buy it. I promise you all at some point I do plan on using it for the intent that it was made for, which is gaming. I just don't know when that is. But like they say, it's better to have it and not need it than not have it and need it. So,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I completely understand the options. Because like I always tell people, it's good to know what your options are and have them, even if you don't exercise all of them. However, sometimes you got to think about like, okay, what else could I do? Right? Like, what are my options? Like, I could spend, like, even for me, right? It's like I could save some money from buying other stuff, put it towards this, and then say that, hey, I too have a PS5 to the 3 people that might care. Or I could continue doing what I'm doing and just use the money however I use it. Or there's also like, put the money towards maybe getting a new graphics card so I can like encode these videos a little bit faster, right? Faster GPUs, it helps a whole heck of a lot. But once you start ranking things, it's like, it's just hard to justify some stuff. Like, again, I look over here at this stack of games, or even the ones that are just on the hard drive. It's like, man, I can't. I spent like $100 in games over the summer that I have spent like 20 minutes on.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But again, if I make, if anybody makes that purchase that's in the sneaker world or any other collecting hobby, I can't knock you across the head, because especially with like sneakers, like we spend $130 to $220 to even like retail prices on shoes that will probably only ever touch our feet maybe 2 to 3 times in our lifetime, maybe, because we've got so many of them. So
yeah, because if it's not a running shoe, its wear time is decreased. Right. Like, I ran like miles every day last week. You know what I'm saying? In the same pair of shoes for a performance review. So like last week, I didn't even really wear anything other than when it rained, and I had to put on those night joggers. So
my Vans, I wear my Vans because they're everyday shoes. So I mean, and oh my God.
I mean, to the people that are in there in the chat, like, I know a lot of you guys have like more than like a few pairs of shoes. Like, seriously, like in a given week, about how many pairs of shoes about how many unique pairs of shoes do you wear in a given week?
That's the question. For
me, I'd say 1, 2, 3. I could say like 4. I could say 4. Because like if my grocery shopping, I buy as I need. So like I'll buy stuff, I'll have dinner for like a day, 2 days, whatever. Then I'll go back to the store 2 days later, whatever. Otherwise, I don't really go anywhere. I mean, so if I'm going out to do that, that's also when I'll like do the gym thing, because in a given day, if I go out, I want it to count. I want to do everything in that one shot. So I'm probably wearing like 4 pairs of shoes a week. Right. Now, given I have like, exaggerating, of course, like 100 times more than that, that means that a lot of things don't get worn. And times like today where there's like, well, okay, it's sunny now, but times like earlier today when it's raining, that decreases the chance of wearing certain ones and increases the chance of wearing a select few, because I have rain shoes, Because
if you ask the question of how many different pairs of shoes do you cycle through during your week, I know I have at least 100 pairs of shoes, and most of the time I'm wearing my work shoes. I solidly have a good 3 to 4 pair of shoes that I will cycle through the work week. One of them is the Nike Just Do It Air Max 270s. Another one are the Vans. Of course, my work shoes.
Wait, hold up.
That's about it. My Nike slides when I get home, but I mean that means that like a ton of shoes aren't really getting worn.
Yeah, and that's the same thing. And so going off of what Kim was saying here, is like looking at what she's spent on shoes from April to now, and it's ridiculous. I think the same thing, which is why now I actually like write it down, in my little spreadsheet thing, along with, you saw the video, just to kind of keep an idea of like what I'm spending on shoes and stuff. Because when you see it written out, then you're like, okay, I know where I should stop. So that's part of the reason I don't buy so many right now. And then also like looking back at the topic came up of as it always does, your top 10 purchases of the year.
Right.
And I'm like, well, let me see. So I'm like, well, let me just scroll through because I never remember. So I'm like, let me just scroll through the YouTube Studio application, which I highly suggest for anybody. And if you do YouTube things anyway. So I'm scrolling through that, just looking at like videos, right? And I'm just scrolling. Okay, well, let me just count like how many straight reviews I've done, not the performance reviews, not the collection videos or the challenges, just standard reviews. And after a certain point, I was like, okay, it's a lot. It's a whole lot.
Yeah.
It's like 60 or something, 60, 70. And I'm like, it's September or October, whatever month it was. I'm like, this is ridiculous already.
Yeah.
And I get that, like, now I'm not buying resale, or I'm not paying resale. I'm able to get a lot of things, you know what I'm saying? Like stuff like this comes along, you know, where it's like, oh yeah, $90 later, it's 50% off. So fine. But it still adds up, you know what I'm saying? Just because you didn't buy that one pair for 180, you still bought these two for 90. So you have more, yes, but you spent the same overall.
If you, I think what really made, I mean, it didn't stop me, of course, because I still do reviews, but and I don't even do reviews on all the shoes that I pick up. But I think what made me realize, and I've only been collecting since 2016, but what really opened my eyes and was like, damn, kid, you need to be selective about what it is you're buying, is when I had an issue with my account, when they switched over to the Flex. I was having issues with my account, and they were doing like the point system, and my Flex said I didn't have any points. And I called them, and I called Foot Action. So that was just Foot Action alone. That wasn't Foot Locker or Champs. And Foot Action said that they were saying, okay, yeah, I see your account here. And I was telling them, I was like, I spend money. And when they actually gave me the total that they saw on my account, they were like, yeah, I see you spent $20,000. And I'm like, $20,000? Like, where in the hell are these shoes? That's a whole fucking car. Like, where is this money? And you asked me, and I will tell you straight up and down, oh, I don't always have it. I'm broke. But when they gave me that total, I'm just flabbergasted. I went into a brain seizure. I almost had a stroke when he mentioned the number 20,000, and that was just for Foot Action alone. So I'm just like,
and that's kind of how I felt earlier when I started like really tracking how much I spend on shoes and stuff. Because I was like, okay, you know what? Again, you know how it is. Like the action figures can be a little pricey, so you want to have some money for that too. But you know what? Altogether, I'm going to stay under this ceiling. And you know, I started. You know, when you start thinking more about that stuff, you're like, huh, this is. You start buying fewer things, and you already know when you're buying whatever, like how much you do or don't need it. You know, there's always that second thought in your head, like, do I really need this Old Man Logan, Old Man Hawkeye set? Like, no. But it is.
Maybe that should be.
It's like I got a $30 Target gift card, and it only costs $40, so why not?
Yeah, those gift cards always. But maybe that should be a topic for another live, like the amount we spend as collectors and sneakerheads, and do we really need to be spending that much? Like,
yeah, keep that in mind. We'll come back to it like next week or something. You know, we'll do one of those nighttime lives and see who shows up, because those are pretty fun. Like I was saying, that's what spawned the whole movie thing. And you know, you were there. I know you weren't.
That was a good one.
Yeah, stuff like that is entertaining, and just sit back and just like the other times where I've just gone live just to see who shows up and what we end up talking about. Because we can talk about shoes and stuff, but a lot of us talk about that enough. but maybe you want to talk about like why PF Chang's is worth going to, you know? It's not just overpriced Chinese food that you're getting. You know, I mean, obviously that comes from a person who is a pro PF Chang's kind of guy. So just putting that out there, you know, Christmas is coming soon. I would appreciate gift cards and stuff. Just gonna, you know, not saying you have to get
anybody that wants to send any of us sneaker YouTubers gift cards and things like that for the holidays. You know, me personally, I probably will not be eating Thanksgiving food because my food will be on my feet. So yes, gift cards would definitely help.
I believe my parents are coming up here for Thanksgiving. And so we will be having dinner at these friends of the family's house. So I'm covered this year. But yeah, normally I don't know, man. Like I don't spend a lot of money on food. Like not a lot at all. I mean, I've made a lot of jokes about cereal and Pop Tarts for a reason. Because like
noodle kind of cereal.
I mean, it's a huge part of my diet. I can't help it. You know what I'm saying? You know, then every now and then, sure, I'll like, you know, throw together some pasta things, maybe pick up some fish from Sam's or something like that. It's already pre-made, and I just have to like put it in the oven for however long it wants to be in the oven. But I don't know, man. It's like if it's like a review day or something, like I know that I'm gonna come home and there's gonna be like a pair of shoes to deal with, and I'm losing like 4 hours right off the top. Hey, something was just delivered. Thank you, Amazon. So no, which is actually some lighting for my so yeah, not anything super important, but I finally figured, you know what, let me get some different lighting in here and see how that works out. So potentially when I record videos again, they'll look different, or at least I'll feel that they look different.
Yeah, I need some more lighting myself. And I was looking at those soft boxes that go around your lights as well.
Yeah.
To try to see if I can like really perfect the lighting, because I've got one lighting source, but that one lighting source is not enough. I've quickly learned that lighting is an art.
Yeah, because the videos I was doing last year, like the apartment had like these crazy light. Well, I won't say crazy. It just had a lot of lights. There was some like above, like right there in the ceiling. There's all these ones across. It's like, so I could do a video in the middle of the night and you wouldn't know it. Here, it's like because of the way the windows are and like only have like the lights in the corner and stuff. It's like I figured, well, let me get some of these things, but I'll set those up. I'll probably use those to do this like review after this, and I'll let you know how it goes. You know, if it's worth buying or whatever, because you know.
Okay. Yeah.
I jumped on Amazon and looked for something relatively cheap but relatively effective.
Right.
So, you know that balance.
In the very first video I did, you know, I was, you know, taking tips from other YouTubers, and they say, yeah, you know, you can use the light around you. Wrong. You absolutely cannot, because it looks like you're filming in a casket if you use the lighting around.
Yeah, if it's the like for me,
the difference between the first couple of videos I had with no lighting versus now is night and day. And like, just a tip for anybody who's doing a video. The moment I learned that I quickly needed a light period is when I was filming a video, messed up the first half, messed up on somewhere where I forgot something, and then tried to go back and add it back in there, and the lighting was two different shades, but nothing had moved. Nothing had moved as far as the camera, the setting or anything like that. But the contrast between the lighting was completely different. So yes, you definitely need some sort of lighting source when you do a video and want it to be brighter.
Right, and that's the thing. Like for me, which is good that I have a pretty streamlined process of just getting right through everything. Because if I ever had to re-add something, like, and I didn't notice it till I was editing or whatever, it'd be an issue. Because given like the way this apartment is set up, with it being on the corner and stuff, it's like,
Yeah.
if the sun, like now it's like right over here or whatever. So
Right.
the way the shadowing is, or like, it's just when it's in the right spot, if it's like around like an hour ago or something like that, I don't know. Like, if I can do my videos at a certain time of the day, the lighting is solid, assuming it's not like rainy, right? If it's like normal sunshine for Hampton, yeah, the lighting is solid. So I have the ring light just to kind of give me just a little bit like right here, just in case. But I don't always even need that. Sometimes just having the blinds open is good enough. So, but anyways, on that note, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here so we can let everything get uploaded to the internet so other people can watch it later and all that stuff. And I'm going to knock out these next 2 videos, which hopefully won't take more than 25, 30 minutes. We'll see.
Hopefully it doesn't take longer than a pack of ramen noodles is what I always say.
It's performance reviews for both of them, so I don't need any pictures because I have pictures that I've already taken if necessary. It's just talking, which is good.
That's good. I think I got for the Jakakazis, I've got an on foot to do. I've got that Air Force One React video dropping. And on foot for the Fire Red 4s coming as well. So I got a few that I can throw out there. Yeah.
There we go. I'm trying to look and see where these message options were. But yeah, so again, I was about to say DB Kicks. Right there, Homegrown Kicks, link in the chat. Go ahead and click on his thing to get to his channel. I'd appreciate it because he's a friend of mine. He'd appreciate it because he's him. So go ahead and do that. And as far as things go with me, I've talked enough about myself. So from me to you, yeah, no problem. Gotta get more people with those wrenches in there. I keep forgetting to do that. So from me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest your night, whatever it is, wherever you are, which I say that all the time. I actually said that to my mom almost the other day when I was getting off the phone. But it just comes out sometimes. But yeah, I think we're all stateside here looking at the people because I'm familiar with a lot of you. So yeah, I'll see you guys later, people. And like I said, hopefully next week we'll be back to doing some lives and stuff. Maybe like a little sneaker battle or something here and there. Definitely gonna need some what's the word, judges and stuff, Kim, optimistic. Be sure to jump on in there, It's always nice to have people.
I don't know why I do this, but it's just become natural now.
You and your product placement. But yeah, so we'll get on all that stuff later. For now, we're good. We're done. Later, people.
Great one, everybody.